This $327 million thriller is still the best movie about serial killers ever made. David Fincher made cinematic history when his gripping crime thriller, 7 was released on September 22, 1995. Before Fincher solidified himself as one of the best directors in the crime or serial killer genre, he endured a brief stall in his career with Alien 3, 1992, the third film in the Alien science fiction franchise. Due to a variety of factors, Alien 3 was an overall disappointment. Despite its box office gains, Fincher eventually disowned the film and criticized it himself. In the 33 years that have followed, however, Fincher has directed smash films and acclaimed television series such as Zodiac 2007, Gone Girl 2014, and Mindhunter 2017 to 2019. With a screenplay by Andrew Kevin Walker, Sleepy Hollow, The Killer, 7 follows a murder spree that quickly proves itself to encompass what feels like almost every negative emotion possible. The film stars Brad Pitt, David Pitt, Morgan Freeman, William Somerset, Kevin Spacey, John Doe, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tracy Mills, and Richard Roundtree, Martin Talbot. Among others, Walker also makes a brief cameo appearance in a blink and you'll miss it moment. While plenty of material concerning fictional and real serial killers has been created over the years, with many successful hits released prior to Fincher's 1995 hit, Looking at You, The Silence of the Lambs, there's no doubt that 7 remains the greatest achievement 30 years later. 7's complex themes are thought-provoking murder and violence aren't exactly lighthearted, but Fincher somehow makes 7 even more gloomy and downtrodden than its initial subject matter, thanks to all the other themes that the film highlights. While most serial killers are motivated by some combination of greed, bloodlust, perceived vengeance, and delusion, 7's initially unidentified murderer is an enigma, with only his pattern identified. In a first for the genre, 7 focuses on the 7 deadly sins and how they can be applied to the real world: greed, gluttony, lust, envy, wrath, sloth, and pride. Doe insists that he commits his crimes by the will of God, bringing religion into the already complicated mix as well. Of course, Doe also tells Mills and Somerset that he'll plead not guilty by reason of insanity at trial unless they do what he wants. In a world where everyone seems to walk around like they've got a rain cloud following them overhead. 7's major themes include a shared feeling of apathy, which Somerset himself confirms, explaining that he doesn't truly have morals, and determining who is good as a judge and who is bad as a criminal. Doe goes around committing murders, for instance, but the audience only witnesses one violent act in progress, and it's not committed by the serial killer. In the end, the psychological impact of Mills and Somerset's investigation rears its head dramatically on both characters, while Doe's manipulation takes center stage. The characters driving 7 are fully realized. The leading actors of 7 had well-established careers before they were cast, but Fincher's crime thriller directly influenced everyone's future roles post-release. Before Pitt was cast as Mills, he was highly regarded for his physical appearance and cast in several romantic and comedic roles. One of Pitt's most recent films before joining 7 was Interview with a Vampire, 1994, in which he portrayed Louis de Pointe-Dulac. Pitt was considered for more serious roles after his portrayal of Mills. Pitt later portrayed Tyler Durden in Fincher's Fight Club, 1999. Freeman, who starred in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven and The Shawshank Redemption before being cast as Somerset, enjoyed a massive amount of success in just a few short years. Paltrow, on the other hand, only had a handful of acting credits to her name before she joined Fincher's production. Although an excellent ensemble cast is important, one major aspect that helps 7 stand out from the crowd is the characters themselves. As the two investigators on the case, Mills and Somerset initially serve as foils before learning how to effectively communicate. Mills is young, impulsive, and new to the area, while Somerset is level-headed and a week away from retirement. Tracy, as Mills' wife, is perhaps the only character in 7 who displays more than 30 seconds of positivity, despite viewers getting a peek at how she feels about her new life. Even 7 serial killer stands out as someone with complicated motivations and a deluded sense of self, although nothing personal is highlighted about him. Everyone plays well off one another, which helps elevate the stakes. 7's atmosphere and cinematography are gripping. 7 is one of those films that sticks with viewers for life after just one go-around. Between Fincher's direction and Darius Conde's cinematography, the crime thriller is downright depressing. The film's doom and gloom is plainly explored throughout the plot, but everything about the lighting, musical score, camera angles, and camera techniques exaggerates how dark the 70N is, figuratively and literally. The color palette of Fincher's work is subdued with dimmer colors, but still manages to add natural contrast. The lighting throughout the film is more dim than the color palette, especially with a crime thriller set against the backdrop of a rainy and crime-ridden city unnamed, but slightly reminiscent of Los Angeles or New York City. Point one of the 70N's best attributes is the film's pace, which is consistent and led with purpose. Fincher's crime thriller isn't fast and furious. Insert, I understood that reference here. But instead progresses at a slow speed that continues to build intensity until the final twist. Viewers are taken through Mills and Somerset's investigation and uncover information along with them in real time, which ramps up the suspense as the film's minutes tick by. With the 7 deadly sins immediately identified as the killer's MO, there's also a palpable feeling of dread shared by the 7EN's characters and the film's audience, as everyone knows how many murder victims to expect. The final plot twist of 7EN is perfectly executed. The aftermaths of multiple murders are shown throughout the 7EN, but only one is actually captured on camera. By the time that Mills and Somerset apprehend Doe, there are still 2 deadly sins unaccounted for: envy and wrath. Viewers watching the 7EN for the first time have no idea who the other 2 murder victims could be until the last second. With Mills, Somerset, and Doe gathered in the middle of nowhere, Doe finally reveals that he represents envy and that he has intentionally provoked Mills to become wrath. The 6th murder victim is not shown, but heavily implied to be Mills's wife and unborn child. Mills, horrified and enraged by Doe's final act, murders a serial killer despite Somerset's insistence not to. Out of every project Fincher has worked on throughout his career, the final plot twist of the 7EN isn't just the most disturbing, but executed flawlessly on multiple levels. Fincher's decision to never show the contents of Doe's delivered box, contrasted with the reactions of Mills and Somerset, stirred up extremely uncomfortable feelings for the film's viewers. In a world where visuals are almost always more driven and have a bigger impact than dialogue, the 7EN proves that the opposite can be more effective. The build-up of the final plot twist is slow, yet it takes everyone completely by surprise.